body image. Huge topic. Body acceptance. Do you accept your body? And what happens when your children are starting to show the same patterns? Another beautiful human, and I'm just going to ask straight out, Suzanne, are you ready to take us beyond the squeeze?
Of course, yes.
Wonderful. So the stage is yours, if we call it that. Basically, I want to just start, which I do with everyone. How are you today? Right? How's it going? How's it
I'm
going?
great.
This is
I'm on
human.
vacation. I feel good.
You're where did you say?
I'm on vacation. I feel great.
Oh, of course. Even though now, we had some glitching. It's like, okay, the whole audio, all that stuff that we all get tripped up in, right? Yeah. Oh, that's so good. So let's talk life. Let's talk about something that we can potentially help others, navigate part of their own journeys, because we're all going through these beautiful lives of ours and becoming more self-aware, should we choose, right? And that means something different to different people. So maybe we'll touch on that later. But I think first it's let's just move us into something that you've experienced that shifted you, that really was transformational in your life. What's happening? What's happened? Or where are you at?
Um, I think for me, something I've been dealing with for a time, struggling with since I was a teenager, and I think that a lot of women and men, and people of different genders experience, and that's related to accepting the bodies that we're in and being comfortable in the bodies that we're in. And I have to say that it's been a very long journey for me to get to a point where and I'm not 100% there yet, but a point where I am more accepting of my body and in a place where I want to embrace the body that I have and not be continuously trying to change it. So I think I went on my first diet when I was 14, and basically since then have been on probably every diet that is known to humans. I've done all sorts of things to try and alter my body, and it's been only more recently that I've sort of had enough of that and have really been working towards loving my body, accepting it how it is, and really embracing it, embracing where I am now and all the things that my body can do for me, not the things that it can't, and not the things that I wish were different. So so yeah, it's definitely not been easy, and I think many people could agree that our society does not make it easy for people to be accepting of the way they look, how their body looks. How we're constantly being sent messages to change how we look, to change how we do things, um, and and it's hard to go against society. It's hard to sort of rebel against that, but I've gotten to a point in my life where I don't want to be, in a restricting mode all the time, where I'm not enjoying life, and then I'm not just being okay with where I am and how I am. And it's taken a long, long time. And even there's still days where I see a picture of myself, or, how I look currently. I've seen, pictures with how I used to look, and and that feeling still comes of, thinking, oh, things would be better if I change, if I look a little bit different. Um, but fortunately, I've been able to work through that and get to the point, you know, sort of come back to myself and really, appreciate what all the different things that I can do with the body that I have. I think also, just having kids and seeing what they go through with all the different media and everything that's out there, and just seeing the struggle that my children have had with their bodies has, really tried, for me, has really pushed me to really work hard at accepting and not showing them that they should look different or be different. And I know that they, as they were growing up, they saw me on diets. They heard me talking about diets, and I know that for myself, as a mom, I feel bad that they were sort of seeing that. But I'm hoping now that the way I'm behaving and the way I'm acting, that they'll see that, I've been able to come to a place where, I'm okay with how I am. And even though there's days where I feel like I wish I was looking as different or, whatever, but I think overall it's a sort of a daily process, and it's a journey. It's not just you all of a sudden end up being, feeling wonderful in your body. You have to work at it and love your body, and really, as I said, embrace all the wonderful things it can do for you.
Yeah. Wow. Journey. And there's so many things that came up there, and thank you for sharing that, because I think I know the piece for myself, and definitely anybody that's going through body acceptance, body love, body awareness, all of these things, comment what you're experiencing. I had my own through other journeys. I wasn't a big dieter. However, definitely mine was, I disconnected from my body, right? And we do it in so many ways, whether that's, the dieting because of sex, because of, like you said, the media, everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The journey isn't easy, and kudos though for acknowledging and seeing it in you, and how it can support you and then your children.
Mm-hmm.
If I can ask, and you can share with us, what are some practices, right? Because I think, let's go there first. What do you do when you're in that scenario of seeing it, right?
Yeah, it's
Walk through, even just, because it can happen that fast and that emotion comes up, but
for sure. Well, there's a few things that I've done. I've really changed my social media so that I'm seeing less sort of things related to looking leaner or dieting or changing your body, and really have tried to focus um, on following people who are in that same sort of spot as I am, as far as working on accepting their bodies, or even feeling neutral about their bodies, and getting to a point where you're not in a constant struggle. And so it's really sort of, one has been changing my social media, so that has helped, seeing less of the dieting stuff versus people who are actually living daily in their beautiful bodies and accepting them, and doing all the things that we do as humans in the bodies that we have. I guess the second thing is journaling. Just getting thoughts out onto paper can be really helpful, and can help you have some insights. And another thing I came across, actually, in talking with someone a few years ago who was a body acceptance coach, I guess was what you'd call her. And she put me in touch with a course or a program where it was all about sort of reconnecting with, might sound interesting or weird, or I don't know, but reconnecting with the camera. And it was about sort of changing, that we're seeing ourselves in like, oh, I look big in that picture, or I don't like how I look in that picture. But it was really taking pictures of yourself, but embracing what the camera picked up, and I found that really helpful to walk through that and work through, using photography to help reconnect with my body and all the great things about it. And so that was a really neat process. But I think that part of it is just getting away from the sort of onslaught, the daily onslaught of diet talk and the media sort of portraying people to look a certain way, to be, the messaging that if you don't look this way, you're not worthy. And I think that that's something that I've really tried to work through with journaling as well.
Right. And you just said something that I know going through my own journey, because we all have our own. And when you talk about the worthiness part of it, because it's so big, our self-worth, and how do we find that? I think that's one of the biggest things that people go through in a full spectrum.
Yeah.
And I guess, and if I can ask, you have children, you mentioned. So how like do you talk about eating habits? Do you talk about weight, body image, all of those things? Like, what happens? I don't have kids, so I'm curious. And for anyone that
Yeah. No.
doesn't, right? Yeah.
I've always tried to have a very, we have very open relationships with our kids as far as talking about everything and anything. And so, especially with my eldest, who has had some struggles as well, with accepting herself, it was something that we talked definitely about, as she was a teenager and grew, into adulthood. And I know even just in our open conversations that she was able to tell me that seeing me on diets, and worrying about my weight growing up really had an effect on her, and a negative impact. And it was a difficult conversation because, as a parent, you're not wanting to inflict pain on your child in any way. And it really was sort of that realization for me that, your kids are watching you, or they're watching what you do. They want to be like you. They in many ways, especially when they're little, but that they're learning from you constantly. And so that, the things that you do, they see and they take in. And so, just having that open conversation with her, she was in her late teens, it really hit home that, it does matter. Your actions can make a difference in the lives of others, but just being able to have that conversation with her was, very important, and we were able to talk through just sort of where I was coming from, and why I felt maybe at the time that that's what I needed to do, but just that how I'm feeling now, and the work that I'm trying to do now, in respect to my body, and that hoping that that's something that she can do as well. And, sharing resources that I've come across or books that I've read that are really all about embracing yourself and, not trying to change, has been sort of what I've been able to do with her. And, I mean, she's on her own journey. She's going to have to figure things out herself, but I'm there to support. Yeah, these become very, sort of individual journeys for us, even though there's many similarities when you start talking with other women or men, and about their experiences with our, with how we live in our bodies and how we perceive them and how we think we should look or not look or whatever. But I think, while we have similarities in our journeys, it's still a very individual thing. And it's something that, I think we're starting to at least see in society that are people coming forward and advocating for, taking care of yourself, but in a kind way, and being kind to yourself, and a diet is not being kind to yourself, and excessive exercise is not being kind to yourself. So how can you take care of yourself but be kind at the same time? And I think that's really what I try to keep in mind, is what I'm doing or what I'm thinking, is it kind to myself? And if it's not, then it's okay, how do I move away from that thinking? And yeah, that's been a sort of an important thing for me to think about for myself, but also for my family.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, and you've shared so much there, so thank you. Parents have go through, because I've heard, as much as I'm not, and it's the you want, you want to protect your kids, you want to do the right thing, you think you're supposed to have the tools, you're supposed to be the right parent, or there's this box that we can put ourselves in, and when in fact it's like, hold on, we're all navigating this, right?
Yeah.
I think kudos to have conversation with your child about it, because so often the kids get tossed in the world and figure it out. Yes, they're on their own journey. However, there's such because they do look up to you. They're sponges in those first 7 years, which they
Yeah.
sponged through the parents, right? So
Yeah.
kudos for you, your partner, being on that journey with the kids, and yeah, there's so much there, and now they have media in very different ways, right? And so it is. We all find different ways to navigate it. And it is that, what is it? What's the, like you shared, what is it? Am I being kind to me, right?
Yeah.
Is my mind, what's my mind doing? Because
Yeah.
again, this is all about that mentally empowered part, the emotions, because our body is this vessel that's taking us through life, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and kudos that you said it's not just exercise, because it's not. We've got a mind going on in there. We've got the emotions, which is what comes up. We've got our
Yeah.
energy, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So lots to navigate, and that's not the only thing that's in life, right? So I do want to ask, because this is all about, so you've mentioned about the journaling, becoming a little bit more day by day self-aware when those things arise. What's the growth? What's the expansion? Where's the laughter? I'm such a big advocate. Obviously, it's called Giggles and Growth, but give me some aha. Give me, for people that are out there that might be struggling. If you're struggling, let us know. Ask if you need help on something, so we can direct you if we can't do it ourselves. But yeah, where's the laughter on the other side of this for people that are like, yeah, that's nice, but, right? Because there's always an and.
Yeah. I don't know. I have to sometimes laugh at, like, I've just turned 50, and sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, it's taken me so long. And I, in a sort of funny way, like, you think when you're younger, like, I need to know everything right now, but I guess my aha, and I don't know if it's funny, but my aha is I kind of had to go through all of that to get to where I am now, right? And I had to have those experiences, and I had to have that learning process. And there's no way, I think, that, and I'm not saying that people can't get this at 17, 18, 25, 30, 35. I think we all can, but I think when we're at those younger ages, like, we're building up our wisdom, we're learning, and I feel like I've finally come to a point in my life where I can look back and sort of say, yeah, like, that really sucked, but I had to kind of go through all of that to get where I am. And, like, I can laugh about, like, every single diet I've tried, and some of them are pretty funny. Like, some of the things I've done, to all in the name of, like, looking thinner. I can laugh at now and sort of say, yeah, that was pretty silly that, I went through a whole period of not eating XYZ, or only eating XYZ. And, the things that we do, it is kind of humorous when you look back and sort of say, yeah, that was pretty silly. I can see it now. I couldn't see it at the time.
And that's what they say. Hindsight's 2020. However you want to look at this. And I know that
Yeah.
say the laughter, and it might not be the biggest laughter, but even as you're talking about it, the lightness comes back to you, right? So that you can
Yeah.
reframe it and see that it's still, so there is the laughter, because on the other side of all that squeezes, which is what this is about, is there is the laughter, there is the growth, which kudos for you. We are a process, right? We're not supposed to know it. So when we are bombarded with social media and we don't have this presence of being in our own body and don't want to be there, well, what happens is, we're just keeping ourselves outside of the body, right? So when we're listening to everybody else, we're filling ourselves up with, hold on a second, hurry up, go faster, go harder, lean in, right? And it's like the pressure on your body and what it does to itself on top of what's going on with the mind and everything else. It's take the breath, like slow down, like you said, right? So it's the expansion, it's your potential, right? So again, you learning that I've got to, what's for me, right? So, and I, like I mentioned, I wasn't a big dieter, but certainly I did some of those, whatever. Take this pill because it's going to do this. I'm like, oh my God, my body, like I was always so sensitive in my body. It was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. And I'd have to stop. Like I couldn't even, right? The cabbage soup, that whatever, there's everything. But I'm like, I was a chef for years too.
Yeah.
And I want to chew. And I'm like, it came to a point of, hold on a second, right? Now, right? And again, I work with bodies. That's my big thing, right? And we're in it and realize it's like, does it really matter, right? Like you had shared, to be in the name of being skinny or the name of being thin. Honestly, yeah. And not for anybody that's skinny, that's not what this is about. We know that, right? I'm expressing that. I'm hoping everyone gets that. But yeah.
Actually, one of the things I didn't mention that was also helpful, and it was something that you had suggested that I do, was really getting to know my body through dancing, and just on my own, dancing to the music I like, and really just feeling my body through movement. And that was certainly a key thing for me, is just connecting with myself that way. So thank you for that.
I know, Suzanne. So there you go. And some of what I do, but this isn't really about that. It's really about, what are those practices? So totally dancing and move, whatever that is, and find different movements. I was always a wiggler. I needed to sort of wiggle it out. And then I got into dance. I was like, oh my God, I'm not a dancer. But I'm like, oh yeah, I am on my own terms, on my own time, right? Because again, I cut myself off from that because I'm like, I needed to look a certain way. They were so smooth. They were doing it better. Oh my gosh, I'm going to trip over, or all this stuff. Our minds are like these, they're just looping. They're doing what we're telling them to do. So, and like you said, until we start to be aware of it and change those patterns. So yeah. Wow. So much. So thank you for sharing, because it's a big topic, right? Body image, big topic. Body awareness, big topic. Body acceptance, the big topic, right? And the beautiful topic, because as you move through that journey, so wherever you're on, if I can add even a little bit of beautiful love to you, which is, you are a process, right? And find the tools and do what's best. Just don't push against your body to prove it for someone else. Find you in all of this. Yeah. So anything else, or?
I think that's kind of my share for today.
No, it's perfect. I mean, I wanted to keep these things sort of in that 20-ish minutes, so this is perfect. Like I invite everyone to do this. Again, we are a journey of self-awareness and self-discovery. So keep giggling, keep growing, and keep shining bright, because we need you. We love you. We're all human. So human to human to human. We'll see you soon. Take care.